everybody, Aimer here again with another Mission Impossible episode review. This time I'm doing Season 1, Episode 27 from the original series, which is called The Traitor. So Dan gets his instructions from a record in a warehouse. He has to go through a few steps again to find the record, and the record player seems a little bit more elaborate than it needs to be. But anyway, the mission, American agent Edward Hughes has defected to the enemy with a top-secret coded message, and is currently in their embassy under their protection, and the IMF must get the message before it's decoded and discredit Hughes for good. We get the usual team for this one, but with the awesome addition of Tina Mara as the guest agent, played by Eartha Kitt, who is an outstanding contortionist. And Eartha Kitt actually was able to do all, there's no stunt double here, that's her doing it. And you'll see, it's pretty impressive. Cinnamon arrives at the apartment after their brief discussion, after serving as a flight attendant, and she just basically served the enemy's code expert, Victor Belson, who's recently arrived. He's given him something to keep him out of the way for a little while because the IMF has something planned for him. Anyway, Rollin goes into the embassy as Belson, and he meets the important players: Hughes, security man Kohler, and Ambassador Brasnik, who's the man in charge. Dan and Cinnamon go to the Hotel Leon, posing as a couple on vacation, and they set up a transmitter of some sort. In the embassy, Rollin sets up a radio in his room, leaves it running, and he makes some kind of adjustment to a thermostat as Barney, Willie, and Tina wait in a service van outside. Rollin is taken down to the embassy vault, which is protected by an array of photovoltaic cells. So any disturbance of the cells, anybody disrupting the light, is going to set the alarm off. Looking at a magazine that arrived at the embassy, Rollin says he's found a message hidden in it. Something about a man named Beaumont in room 411 of the Hotel Leon, which is where Dan and Cinnamon are. Rollin figures that the message is for Hughes and questions Hughes' motives for defecting, angering both Hughes and Brasnik because that's a discussion that they really don't want to have, but they agree that the lead should at least be investigated to find out what's going on. Kohler places the call to Beaumont as the embassy calls for a repairman to their furnace thanks to Rollin messing with the thermostat. Barney intercepts the call and the van rolls up to the embassy basement. Tina hides in a section of air duct piping, this is really cool, that Willie uses to replace a part of the piping that he deems bad, and Tina crawls into the ducts. Willie says he'll get the pipe piece ready at the shop and be back shortly. Kohler brings flowers to Dan and Cinnamon containing a hidden bug. They have a conversation for Brasnik's benefit with Beaumont, saying that he has a plan to get Hughes out of the embassy and the country. Brasnik follows Cinnamon, and Kohler remains to keep an eye on Beaumont. Back at the vault, Rollin asks Hughes to do some decoding for him as he crushes something into an ashtray, heading back to his room, saying he wants to rest for a bit. The chemicals from the ashtray make Hughes drowsy, and he heads back to his room as well. Tina finds Rollin's room from the sound of the radio, and from there is able to find Hughes' room, where he immediately collapses on his bed. Tina uses the awesome reverse ratchety screwdriver, I love this thing, to get into Hughes' room and start setting some things up, but Brasnik arrives unexpectedly. Tina rushes and hides in a corner, and very fortunately, Brasnik doesn't notice her or the grating that she had to remove from the wall. Once Brasnik leaves, Tina covers up the bed and activates an air pump, which makes it look like the bed is empty. Tina's next stop is the vault, where she sets up a series of mirrors to block the photocells. She's then able to awesomely slither through under the mirrors and uses a very cool safe-cracking doohickey to get into the vault, swaps out the top-secret document for a fake one. Brasnik gets an important message and tells the guard to inform him if Belson leaves the room. Kohler unfortunately loses track of Beaumont, and Brasnik goes to look for Hughes but finds his bed empty. He immediately goes to the vault to make sure the document is still there, and he finds that it is and shows it to Rollin as Belson, who confirms that it is not the same document. It's been switched. Rollin immediately says it must be Hughes that did it, collaborating with Beaumont, but Brasnik says they couldn't have done it without inside help. How else could they get into the vault? He tells Rollin that he received a message earlier that indicates that Rollin, is suspected of being a double agent. Rollin retorts that Brasnik has royally screwed up and is looking for a scapegoat, and that's why he's lashing out at him. Tina goes back to Hughes' room, lets the air out of the special mattress, turns Hughes over, and puts an envelope with cash and a passport in his pocket. Brasnik and Rollin goes to Hughes' room to find him there, tired and confused, and with the incriminating evidence on him. Rollin suggests Hughes be jailed until he can be executed, which causes Hughes to madly rush for the exit. Brasnik orders his guard to shoot Hughes, but Rollin makes a shot go awry, and Hughes is taken into custody by the cops. American cops. Brasnik is furious at Rollin, who admits he is not Belson, but rather a senior security officer who was sent to investigate Brasnik and his procedures. Brasnik leaves Rollin with his guard at gunpoint while he goes to verify Rollin's story. Tina overhears the conversations and warns Barney to have Belson brought back to the embassy as quickly as possible as she heads back to her previous spot in the basement. Willie gets Tina out as taxi driver Dan drives up to the embassy with the real Belson, who is brought to Brasnik and Rollin. Now that they found the real Belson, it confirms Rollin's story that he's not Belson, he's a senior security man, KGB type. Rollin then makes a hasty exit from the embassy as a teletype message comes in from NVD, I guess that's the equivalent of the KGB in this case, NVD headquarters, about Rollin not being one of them. But it's moments too late for Brasnik, who glumly realizes how badly he's been duped as Rollin gets into Dan's taxi and they drive away. Mission accomplished. I'm going to give this episode a grade of A-. This one has a pretty good plot. There's no plotting or anything. It goes at a really good pace, and certainly nothing boring about it. Excellent guest stars. Eartha Kitt is quality. And Malachi Throne, who plays the ambassador here, is also a fantastic addition. You can't have a bad episode of Mission Impossible with that guy. Visually, again, it's tremendous. The two scenes where Tina, Eartha Kitt's character, really shines are the ones where she basically puts the agent Hughes, and does the thing where she, pumps up the bed to hide Hughes. Wow, that was really cool. Where they basically hide a guy in a bed and then they undo that. Fantastic. It looks really great. Also, Tina getting into the safe using the mirrors and crawling under the little apparatus. Pure awesomeness. Really great to watch. And bonus point, she uses the awesome reverse ratchety screwdriver. I love that thing. I think I've mentioned that enough, but I will keep pointing it out every time we see it. Other nice little touches. The producer and the directors of this episode did a really good thing. A neat thing that I noticed when Tina goes back to Hughes's room towards the end of the episode to remove the air pump and put Hughes back in his bed for everyone to see, she's got dust on her suit. You would expect that after crawling around in an air duct for however long she's been in there, half an hour, whatever. And I just thought that was, wow, that's really neat. That's a nice little touch that they kind of threw in there, a dose of realism, if you will. The only bad thing about this episode, I don't know what it is about Lonnie Chapman, the actor who plays Edward Hughes. I'm sure he's a very nice man. I'm not even sure if he's still with us. I'd have to go look that up. But just something about the vibe that he gives off. Just he's all. I really don't know how else to say it. I'll just come out and say it. He's just got this look on his face, kind of like, this. I can't even describe it, but just a look on his face is almost like he doesn't want to be there, or surly, I guess, is a really is the word that I'm thinking of. He just looks surly all the time, about like what's it to you sort of thing, and just has this attitude, and it kind of bugs me. I don't really know how else to say it. He's a bit of a turnoff in this episode, and he's in some future episodes, and maybe we'll talk about that again. But anyway, other than that, I really think that this is a very, very fine episode. Great use of the guest agent, great teamwork all around by the entire team. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this one. Please like this episode. Please can subscribe to my channel. I look forward to moving on to season 2. We're almost there, and please.